Hello everybody, this is Chuck with bKSM Media, and I'm going live here and getting ready to do some camera editing. And this is a camera set for the iRacing Motorsports Simulations service, and they've just released the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez racing facility that they rendered in Mexico City. It has 7 layouts, and I've been running them pretty heavily in the past 24 hours or so. One of them that has come to us is an oval. It actually has 2 that are listed as oval, and one of them is Oval Stadium, and it runs clockwise and has a road course sort of element. I guess you would call it in a way a roval. But this here that I'm focusing on is a left turning, like most of the American fans are used to. And I've taken some 1987 stock cars out with the AI drivers, and I ran 25 laps, and I had a self-inflicted sort of incident, but until then, things were going along quite well. So the theory I'm doing here is I'm working on the first of the bKey Sim Media camera sets that I put together. And I'm starting out here with the oval. And I decided since this is kind of a, I don't know if there is, I haven't found any real world footage of other than, well, I haven't really found any real world footage of them running this course. I don't see any TV camera footage, anything like that. So this one here, I'm just pretty much starting off on my own. There is an iRacing default set, and I will be going about how to somewhat quickly change all of that up and then start on your own. And I will be kind of following the general philosophy of the way I usually set cameras up to cover tracks and so forth. And this one looks like it's going to be fun to try to get angles. You'll see what I'm talking about soon. Okay, first things first. If you've used iRacing for a while and you're looking at the screen and you're wondering where what you're used to seeing along the bottom of the screen here, where has all of this gone? Well, you see this, you're used to seeing this section here in the middle, and then we have the driver stuff, and we had chat, and it was all frozen like the header up here currently still is. Well, if you haven't done this yet, all of the elements down here in the UI can be moved. If you use the Alt-K to move your elements, you can get a hold of the elements. You'll notice that a lot of these things, if you're using a single screen, all of these elements will be on one. If you're using triples, I think it kind of starts out on one. There's a setting that you can go in the INI that allows it, these elements to go completely 3-screen like I've got. So a lot of the things you're used to seeing, like the laps and stuff, all of these other elements I've got on the left or right. I would highly recommend also, better than this right here, when you Alt-K, somewhere in your stuff here will be this box. And I highly recommend, or I like to use this, taking the opacity of the UI here down to about 50% at least. And when you close it out, Control F12 brings the camera back up, camera editor. You'll see that things you can, the opacity of the background is less intrusive. So if you only have a single screen, that will help you a lot being able to see things. But being able to take these bottom elements here and move them off to the other screens or whatever is a brilliant move. Here's the old, where it used to be over here, there's your helmet box. And I have the text box over here, which you can drag it about and move it, and VCR controls when they bring them up. So that right there is one of the new UI elements that is a pure blessing to me. And a lot of the new UI is going to take a lot of getting used to. I am still, over the past few hours, I have been searching and hunting, where has this gone? Where can I set this? But to gain things of being able to move boxes such as this is golden to me. This is fantastic news. I'm sure that most broadcasters will be able to being able to move this down here will be a blessing. We can only hope that the same will eventually be one day for the header up here. We can be patient and hope, but just being able to move just everything like that off of a screen. So you have some room here. And that has allowed me with OBS to lay things out better here, that you can see, you guys can see the map inputs and the key inputs that I'm doing and so forth. So hopefully that will be able to, you know, make it a little easier to follow along, which we will get to actually, hopefully, editing something here momentarily. So yes, there's where we're at the moment. I'm getting ready to we double check some things here real quick. And I do believe that should be functioning. Yes, there we go. All right, let's see that. Okay, so I'm going to drop the Alt-K again to make everything stop being blue. All right, the camera editor is Control F12. Open it and close it. And currently, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And what I used to for years, I would save another default camera to have it there, and I would name it default. But I don't really need to do that anymore. iRacing will take care of that here in a moment. So I just save the track and I go ahead and zap all of this out. It'll name it the way it wants. So this will be 2025 bKSM, bKey Sim Media, Mexico City Oval. Okay, so I'll save that. And that is now the camera set that we're working on. If you go back here to load track, you'll now see that iRacing created your default. So that is what comes with it, and et cetera, et cetera. And that is also, we have just created, we've saved that as, so we have all of that right here in what we just created. So, all right. So what I want to do is to get rid of all of the cameras. We're on the scenic set here right now. You can use C or Shift C to go back and forth between these, or you can click here and here. You can double click them up here in the cameras. All right, we are currently in the group edit. If I wanted to, I could go right here and copy and paste this whole group as one, and it would see, we have 10 cameras here. Then we would end up with, I believe, we'll start at 11 and go to 20. Yeah, the way this is numbered, yep. So what I want to do is get rid of all of the default iRacing cameras. I could go about redoing every one of these cameras, but I have found to start a fresh set do your cameras, you can get the audio and set certain things and copy and paste. And those cameras will be a lot more uniform as you go. So instead of editing the great work that's already here, I want to delete that, even though, you know, if we need it, it's under the default. So I'm going to start by highlighting this and move them to the right. We're moving over there. I'm on the scenic group at the moment. And I noticed something here. This being a new UI, the scenic group is not checked as a scenic group. So you can, if we're in TV, we move the TV one, we can make it the scenic group. Or we move back to the scenic group, we can make it the scenic group. So you need to change or select a scenic group for the sim to behave like a group, such as a scenic group exists, which means it will come in, and if there's no focus car, it will have a set of cameras that either look in a direction, they're either fixed, or you can have slight movement through using the blimp cameras, all kind of experimentation there. But for this moment, I just need them gone. So we've moved them over to here to the side, and I will give you a heads up on something that I was getting ready to try to do, and it won't let me do it fully. What I was attempting to do, getting ready to try to do, was go over here and get on these cameras and delete each one of them. If I highlight it, it may or may not let me. There is a group, there are at least two groups now that iRacing creates, and I'm going to navigate to, I'm going to use the C from there. We got TV 1, 2, and 3. There's TV static here. So you'll see, so camera TV 4 has been used inside of the static group. And then you have a mixed. So there is a mixed group. You see we're in group edit. With all of these different cameras from different camera groups. And to be able to delete fully out of this list over here and out of the actual file, and to save that without all of those cameras involved, you need to delete these two groups. Okay, so we're on, where are we on here? So we're on, there's TV static, and I'm gonna, it's already on it, I'm gonna delete that group. So there went that. And I'm gonna navigate to TV mixed, I'm gonna come right here, right there, and delete that group. And I'm gonna go ahead and save that. You can use enter, but you have to click the overwrite. It would be nice if iRacing would make that enter active too, but you know how that goes. They're doing great things, so those little things we can work with. Okay, so there we go. So we're back down to these. I should be able to go to the scenic group here in these lists and delete them one by one. I have to be careful, you can get carried away and delete cameras nearby that you want to keep. And I've not ever found an undo. Let's just save it, I guess. So, yes, will that one go? Yes, all right. So now we have one scenic camera left. And see where, it's interesting because it should be up here in the middle, but yeah, this one, they'll hide on you. But anyhow, okay, so there's that. We can save once again. I can't save too often, okay? It pays to save like any other thing, but crashing, power outage, whatever, you don't want to affect 15 cameras and lose all of that. And I certainly can speak from experience. Okay, so I'm going to move on to TV1. And the same principle. You want to highlight these cameras, move them to the list over to the side, highlight them here, delete, and once again, click carefully and directly. And I go ahead and save. Can't save too often. Move into TV group 2. And same principle. And once you do get used to it, you can move along a little quicker. Just have to stay focused. TV3. Okay. And so is there anything using TV4 cameras at this point in time? Running through all the cameras, and I do not see any. So I can, if there's any group using any one of these, you find a camera you cannot delete, chances are there is a group somewhere that it is a part of. All right, so so that has left us. All right, so Scenic Group. I'm going to move this camera as Alt-W, as most of you are probably very used to. And okay, speaking of new UI, here's the camera editor. I was just carrying on. It pays to go up here and hit the camera editor. First thing I wanted to do, I like my camera starting out with 00. So we will rename that there, hit enter, save, track, enter, click. Okay. Let me see here. We have fixed position. You have a drop down with fixed, blimp, chopper, chase, on-car, etc., etc. And you have your aim type. So this is static. With the Scenic, I'm going to keep this one static, or you can choose at the car or at a group of cars, which just gives a little looser view. And view live, of course, and you can affect all these other things right through here. You can also do these things with some keystrokes, which you'll start noticing soon. One thing, okay, one thing that's different, speaking of new UI. Okay, there we go. Here's the new UI, the camera editor box. Most of us are used to this box being a little bigger and being kind of static that way, and everything else fitting in the middle. Well, in some ways it's that way, and in some ways it's not. Okay, we have new things here. We have drop down. So here's your placement and aim. Okay, that's the placement. You will see change as I scroll through it with the keys. You can do all of this here if you want, but seeing the keys that I'm using here to move the cameras, this is a fixed camera. It gets a little different when moving a blimp camera. Okay, so basically forward, backward, left, right, up, down, that most are used to. That's a whole different thing. That was Alt-Q. You can cycle through camera views. It can freak you out sometimes. All right, so main thing here I want to get with this view is, hello. You can run through things. Don't freak out. I should have mentioned that. Yes, if you're prone to dizziness or queasiness, some of these things may zip around, as I'm used to them. If you're not, I apologize. Please be aware. Try not to fall down or anything, please. Okay, so The scenic helm vibe can be kind of high, you know, what you're wanting to capture, what kind of vibe you're wanting to do. For this here, I'm just going to put this. This will be my scenic helm 00 for the oval course here. I want it down a little bit along this fence, get a little more of that fence. That's not so bad. You know what I could do? Use this like another pit camera. Because there's the pit exit. I can back this up. Well, a little too much. Pardon me, folks. Pardon me. Pardon me. Yes, a little intrusive, a little abrupt. Okay. How's that? That's not so bad. All right, so we'll go with that for the moment. And I will eventually add more. I do not want to limit this right now. Okay, once again, the drop downs. You have lens and exposure, and there's your field of view stuff we're used to with your focus depth, aperture and exposure, etc., etc. You know, your motion blur, and that's there. You have your properties, which is this pitch roll and cockpit down the fence, etc., etc. Advanced, and if you're eventually, I do a lot of clip distance stuff that I experiment with. This one comes in handy for me. Okay, Leon, here's the microphone set up, and I am going to make this one parabolic. Okay, here soon, I'm getting ready to make some noise. Hopefully it's got it mixed through OBS here, and you can hear, it won't blow your eardrums out with the cars here. But you have your camera bus there, your shot range, which we're not going to use yet. Sometimes I do put some shot limitations, the range limitations where a camera starts or ends, the part of the track they cover as you go by here. I do a lot of that sometimes with scenic cameras, but it depends literally on the track and the moment. And sometimes it's a specialty thing to where it's not the best idea for everyday usage. But there are times when limiting shot range with the scenic stuff can, you know, add some really good effects. It can, especially with audio, you know, you can hear the cars passing by as it switches to whatever focus you have. So it depends. Most of these things depend on what your objective is, and you can experiment accordingly. But we will cover this section heavily momentarily. No reason to with the blimp yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and point this out. I'm going to let the cars roll forward here. And as the focus car, which is me, I believe, I'm at the back there. This right here, I can push this. And as the cars go by, if you do it before they get there, it'll spike it. If the car's away, a distance away, it's going to spike it up to full blast. So be gentle to yourself. Try to wait till they get nearby. I'm gonna go ahead and forward. There we go. Now I'm back here at the back. I know where I'm at. If you know where your focus car is, you can kind of wait. But there you go. See that? And as the car goes by, it stop, let off. Go ahead and save your track. And it's kind of wise to stop it there. But since we have one camera at the moment, that's okay. So the next time when they come by at full song, there's as loud as the camera will get. And it'll be your main volume on whatever you do. So, okay, I'm going to back them back up here. This is the good part about taking a replay. So you can just manipulate, even if it's just your car, you doing some laps by yourself. Okay, let's move on to TV. Once again, you see and shift C to navigate back and forth between the camera sets. So I'm going to go to TV1. They're on the line. I'm in the camera edit here, and I'm gonna see here's where you have to get your boxes, because I don't need the volume. I need the lens and exposure, I think. No. Which one is it? Placement and aim. Yeah, there we go. So we are fixed and at the group. And at this point, I'm also going to need the shot range down here. You can see that set to limited. You can unclick it, click it. Okay. I want to go ahead. I generally, once I get that the fixed and zoom, you can use the brackets to zoom in and out. And there's things that you can set things to where these movements will get quicker and quicker as you move. We'll see how it goes here. Okay, so when I'm focused at my car back there in the back, and I want to come and focus to the cars right here on the lead. So sort of like Control or Shift C and C, V clicks backwards and forwards between the cars. I'm on there's the pace car right there I'm focused on. Right now, I'm going to focus on the lead car there. And actually for this, that I'm starting off just from the line here so that I can get the start position of this camera further up the track. I'm going to go ahead and focus on myself. And I'm going to set this start as far back as the car will go. Okay. And now the point is, I click on the set end, and we want to let the cars move forward. Because I'm going to move this camera. I'll be moving this camera momentarily. Okay, so I'm going to freeze that right there. And you see this guy's camera there. Most of the time, I like my turn one cameras. Goodness, I may have to turn the speed down. In this vicinity. And being as the way this track plays out, I am in the strong thoughts to maybe do like a crane sort of type of setup here and see how that plays out. Now, once again, as you're doing, well, I'll wait and do the microphones after they are placed. So I am still, you see here, we still have the end set up. So let it roll by. That's not so bad. So we can stay focused to the bridge there. Okay, so we're going to use this camera to duplicate it. So we'll copy and paste, and you'll see 01 came in. I like to save the track. Now then, right away, I like to set the start of this camera before I change anything. So you can incrementally back it up. Now go ahead and set the end so it's flashing, and you can move the camera. Okay, I need to try to slow things down. And where do we do that? Is it advanced? No. This is the fun part with the new UI. You had to find all the little things you used to use before. No. Interesting. All right. Where's the speed of everything? Interesting. Wow. That's so what was it in? What did it used to be in? Is it in configuration? I bet it's in configuration. Gradually increasing. There we go. Interesting. Okay. Right, move it up a little bit. So there's that. It's in the configuration. That's kind of interesting. That makes sense. Once again, getting used to the new UI. It's still worth being able to move everything down here at the bottom. And the opacity levels, just being able to change them so easily. Yes. And yeah, I think you can get on, I'm pretty sure you can get to full opacity now too for some of them. Okay, so where was I? I was moving. Camera 01. Okay, so yes, you see that the acceleration isn't there. So here's literally how fast the camera's moving, or your movements are taking place. And you can see that this can take a moment. Looks good though, and it's user friendly. So I want to go back to configuration and speed it up some. Do I want to put the gradually increasing? Let's try that without the 10 times. Let's see how that feels. And that's not so bad. You can let off of it, and that's not so bad. So here's the thing with this course is its turns are quite long. Let's see, where is one of the road course? This goes backwards in the road course. Do I want to start this right about here? We'll put it close to. Okay, so we've already set the start of this. Lens and exposure. Shot range. The expanding and scrolling is a little weird. That's going to take some getting used to. So through it all, our set range is still lit. I'm going to let it roll forward here a moment. So about right there, where it rolls out of sight. Right? Now, back pretty much what we just did. Copy and paste the camera 2, save track. And so far, I see not a lot of reasons to change the audio yet. Let's see here. So it's got plenty of room here along the basketball court area and the stadium and leading of that turn. Let's go over here. Use the area for the soccer field here. Okay, let's go ahead and try to put a blimp camera in here and use it as a little boomy looking camera. which I haven't set the start of this yet. So let's back them up a little bit, set the point. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let them run by so I can set the end point. See how that works. Now that'll be an interesting shot. Go ahead and set that there. Okay, we'll back them up here. As I'll go ahead and save. Okay, so I guess we need to, okay, placement and name type, yes, there we go. We need to click on blimp. So when I do this, most times out of 10, you'll see the blimp jump way over somewhere, the view. There we go. And now what has happened there is by default, the blimp is put on a particular parameter or diameter, a circling pattern, whatever you wish to call it. And we need to drop down here. Once we've chosen that, okay, we need to go down here to the blimp controls. And here's where your movements keys get a little weird, because you have to do a different thing and it kind of curves. And right now the blimp radius is 100. And we're trying to figure out where we can make this. This is more like a little boom camera type of thing, or a droney type of thing. But we need to get it down to where it's only, there we go, we're at 1 meter. Now, if you do this, you see, there you go. And the velocity is 10. You can slow that down there. Which way is it? Positive numbers rotates negative or counterclockwise. Negative numbers rotates clockwise. So you can see that that's a tiny little circle. So you can use this to get it at, or you can come over here and do this and say, let's just go on a 8-meter circle. And if you push play, you can see that slows it down. Now you just need to figure out where to center that at. And here's where your controls can get weird. Uh-oh, that looks interesting. Interesting. It seems like the controls have stopped. Okay. And we found a little glitchy with the controls. Yep, had to save it. Interesting. Okay, so we're trying to move the aforementioned blimp camera, which is working here. And okay, now we probably want this creeping along at this diameter. And what that's going to do, you'll see. All right, so once again, we need the edge of where it's going to go as far to the edge of the track as possible without going over it. Or maybe a little over it. So I'm already I want to move this to positive. Yes, that makes much more sense. Just a little bit of movement. Yes, we may need to raise it up a little bit. Okay, so we know that's going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and save the track again. Okay, so now when we copy and paste this camera, new number 03 there also is a blimp camera, which I don't want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and click it as fixed. I'm going to go down here to the shot range if I can get down to it. Okay, let it start. Use controls to back the cars up a little bit so it overlaps. Then an end. All right, and let's switch up to them and try to find a good angle as we fly around over the floor. It's still moving along pretty quick, isn't it? I think since we just did the blimp, we'll probably have a blimp over here like we just did on that other one on TV 2 or 3. Because yeah, these trees over here. Okay, so this here, I'm going to go ahead and run it by. About there, set it, save it. I'm wondering right now if I go into group edit, you can double click on whichever cameras. And yes, I think that right now I am going to set the start point on this camera back there where they're at right now. Back them up a bit with that. Back to the group. Double click on 03. Yes, so go back to camera edit. Go to set end. And let it run to about there. Okay. So eventually, as the laps go by, there will be a little deviation between when those take over or not. So that's kind of cool. Okay. At this point, I want to go ahead and go to close everybody else for a moment. And I want to go to the on-cam microphone section now. And we'll be setting some camera set to peak. Okay, this one's already done, but we'll do it again anyway. So I'm gonna move to the next one. As it goes by. There we go. And that's all of the microphones there are set. So now when they go by, there we go. All right, so we have TV1, back them up here, get them where they start over again. And this time, I'm gonna leave it where they're already on the lap so that I can go ahead and do the overlapping up here. Okay, so use the C key, we're on TV2. And this particular camera is fixed and at group and so forth. And it is TV200. And as a general practice, I like to put the first TV2 camera kind of opposite the angle that I did with the one for TV1. I like to put them at the back of the field as you're coming through. And this one here is interesting. because you have a lot of signage. Okay, let's go ahead and let some of it play out. Sometimes you just have to start and see where it goes. So I don't need the mics open right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the start of this, which will be backing things up for at the moment. So about there where it comes into view. And we're going to go click that in, speed it up to kind of get it out there and see where it's going to go. Go ahead and set that for a moment, even though it may change soon. Okay, so we can click there and back it up. Okay, so I expect this may be another one that we could use the blimp situation on. Go to the blimp controls. Take that down to, and I'll do 6 there. That's not bad. Okay, that's not so bad, but it probably needs to be zoomed in a lot. That may be too much. That's not bad. I like to go TV1 wider, TV2 medium close zoom, TV3 much more zoomed when necessary. Eventually, when I add bKey cameras, the alternate views, some can be wider, some can be much closer. Okay, let's see how this looks. Oh, that's giving a decent bit of movement with that camera. That's kind of cool. Okay, so that's probably a little bit much considering how it will be when they're in the pits. I like the way that plays out though. So if I raise it up, yeah, you can see them. So if I take it down, it's like the sign's in the way, maybe. Maybe not as much. Too close. Like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably better coverage. The higher camera, I guess I can do an alternate view with the lower one maybe, but this is covering pretty good. I think I can let it go all the way down there. It's a wild shot. Okay, so save track. and paste. F01. I do not want it to be a blimp view. Okay, set the start point. Back it up a little. End point. Zoom down this way. Scenic trip around Mexico cities. Okay, I wonder if I can take a similar but different approach on this one. Okay, this one here. I do not want it zooming in, so I'm going to do this as the aim type is static. Actually, I do want to focus on the at the group. What I want to do is the what are you called now? Are you under the properties? I'm looking for a fixed view. Okay, that's interesting. So placement and aim, it's got to be. So, is it lens and exposure now? So, So you have to uncheck the auto now. That's interesting. So what I'm trying to do is they should go by. This field of view should stay static. So the cars will get bigger. See that? But then as they pass, the the view doesn't zoom in. So in real time, that would be like, do I have my shot range still working? Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work there. That'll be an interesting shot. Save the track. So that's interesting. Okay, so copy, paste, two, save track. That's fine. Brief it back a little bit. Set end. So if you don't have, you have to be careful if you don't have the auto set there now. Your field of view can zoom out and look weird. They've made it a little better to where it's not so easy to do, but it still can take place. There's only just so much that you can do with this section here. Do I need to put a fixed in here? There's a lot of it. It's making the decision. Because, you know, you realize it's like, well, it's all kind of being a bit redundant if you're not too careful. And it's like, well, there's only so much you can do in some aspects. which I'm going to go ahead and let this one kind of run here. See how it plays out. Feel like it's a little high in the air. Get down here a little closer. That's not bad. Copy and paste the next camera. Try. Brief it back a little. And go ahead and set the auto back on this so I can zoom. See how this one works. So we went over the well, I think this might be another little place to hook us up a little boom type of looking deal. So we need to do the blimp. Oh, cool, it didn't move it all heavily. So it's decent movement, slow motion anyway. Still aiming at my car back there, which is kind of cool. Playing out. Could let that go well into turn. Save it. Number one. Oh, that just. I guess that was just supposed to be that way. That's pretty cool. Okay. I want to move it a little bit further on around. Put that there, let that go into that one. I want to set this start. Just a little behind the tree. Okay, yeah, that's all. Okay, so I can start back. We're going to do the microphones. Watch your ears. Oh. I'll try to wait till I'm closer. It doesn't spike as much. Clicking on the set to peak as they go by, or as the focus car goes by specifically. All right, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Going on to TV3. Always kind of interesting with TV3. Like usually kind of have them end up being, I don't know, either on the sides. There's so much to choose from here. I think that just want to go. Yeah, I want to put this one over on the pit side. If I'm not mistaken, are there some? Over here might be the way to go. Actually, where's the finish line at? We're all the way down here. Let's see. Yes, that's the start finish line. Way down there. So I think this could be another good place for a blimp style focus. Control radius does not need to be 100 meters. Too high. Oh yeah, that's good. Terrible. I need it zoomed in. Okay, so that'll get them in the pits. At the start there. At the end. At end. Copy, paste, track. I do not want this one. Do I want this one to be a blimp also? I need to look at that because it's possible that I do need it to be also. Stadium. Hold on. So they're all the way over there. Let's see. I want to go around a radius and a higher speed. Okay, I'm gonna move the speed up great and see where it's tracking. Okay, that's not terrible. Lower back down some and see what that looks like. Oh, we're gonna crash into a stadium. Ooh, that was close. Okay. We don't need to let it get that far. Okay. And paste. Save the track. Start. Back it up a little. That in. Not want this is blimp. Catch up and see where I want to put it. Feeling okay. We have a fixed. I want to set static view, and I'll take it off of auto zoom and set the aim how I want it there. I'll lower it down here a little bit around the fence. So then have the end set. Okay, now I want to, just as that, my car is going out of the frame, I want to set the end. I want to copy and paste. Make sure we have two cameras that are the same. Yep. Okay. Go to start. I'm scrolling the mouse wheel to move up and down on there. It's pretty cool. We'll start and go 1, 2, 3. Set it at the end. Now I'm going to slowly rotate the camera around to about that angle there. So now we'll go into that. There we go. You should see the camera switch if I go by. And I go back to group here and check on our first one. So we're probably, it's actually. Already done. That's cool. It's every now and then, I think that's twice I've gotten lucky right there, but I do want to move it a little further, be a little more specific and direct. Definitely save that. Okay, so that should be TV1. There's a basic static camera at the moment, and it is set to scenic. Go to TV1, all of those, TV2 and 3. And then I go to pit lane, which they always put my pit lane down at the entrance, the first one. And this is an interesting entrance, to put it mildly. This right here should work all right. Frame everything else a bit. Doesn't hurt. Might want to add a little there. This way a little bit. I can turn it. I like that better. I like that better. You can see the entrance here, right there. That's cool. All right, and while I am here, I can do the sound. Cool. Save track. Go to pit lane 2, which I always have a tendency to put at the exit. Which is right around that corner there. It's just right here. I don't know if I want it that far up or not. I don't think that. The light pole there. There's nothing wrong. Just letting the exit play out like it does, and might even could move it back a little bit to where you might see some blending action, because it does bring them right out. It does bring them right out amongst it, you know. It went up on the bridge. Hello, folks. Pardon me. Just moseying through. All right. So, that's a bit much. Back up this way. Better suited, better framing. Definitely more centered. And all right, that's awesome. All right, so we've made it through single scenic camera and primary cameras on TV group 1, 2, and 3. And I've set some pit lane. So I'm going to bring the field back around here. And we'll let them start. And we'll fiddle about with the cameras as I do. This is TV1. Moving to TV2. Moving on to TV3. Take a look at pit lane 1. You can kind of hear the sights and sounds. And I will probably be ending this session soon. Pit lane 2 coming up. We've got the primary cameras in place. Once again, this has been Chuck with bKey Sim Media. And I've been doing a live camera editing session here on the bKey Sim Media YouTube channel. Been using the OBS Open Broadcast Studio, and been enjoying the new UI. I'll get the rhythm of this soon, but as I mentioned, being able to move the other elements that we can right now is more than worth the learning curve and the pains of hunting the old familiar things among the new. But honestly, it's just a little less streamlined than it used to be, I guess. But most of that is learning the technique as you go, I'm pretty sure. The drop down inside of the little box situation, it is what it is. I would like a little more expanded, a little more visible altogether, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah. If you've been following along, I appreciate it. I will be doing camera sets. There's new cars. There's a new Mustang. There's new Aston Martin. There's a new Indy Next car to do cameras for. A bunch of upgrades to Sonoma. I think there's, the different outlets. There's ovals at Sonoma. all of their 7 layouts here at Mexico to edit. So yeah, I will be following up this session with a more expanded following through on the scenic cameras, and there needs to be some blimp work done. I expect that I'm going to want multiple blimp cameras in this one for sure. And at some point in time, I will be starting on a bKey series set of cameras to go with these TV cameras and maybe some others that offer alternate views from each camera, and you can either cycle through them yourself using the B or Shift B combination keys, or you can let it run itself and the sim will eventually switch back and forth between the views. Sometimes it's a little quirky and the sim doesn't think that the other camera has a good enough view or distance or whatever to take over. So it can be a little stingy in some areas. And that's where the simply being able to click the B or the Shift B between the cameras pays off. And you don't have to have the camera editor open to even do that. Just as you're running along, you can use the C and Shift C to switch back and forth between cameras groups. And you can use the V and Shift V to switch back and forth to cycle through the cars, forward or backward through the field as you choose. C or V does it forward through the field. Shift V goes backwards through the field. So, there's a lot of things you can do that you don't have to have the camera editor open to do. Some things like zooming, using your brackets here to zoom in and out like that. You need the camera editor open for. And you can drop it down with the space bar as you can everything on the UI to get things out of the way. And now that you can Alt key and I can move those camera controls off to the side, and I can remove these replay controls off to the side. When I Alt K again, you have this whole area here now that's open, even with the UI open as it is. But you can hit the space bar and you're clear all the way around. That's across all 3 screens, etc., etc. That you can do the Alt 12 or Alt K, excuse me, and move these elements. You've got the flags over here, got the weather radar, over here. You can put things in amongst, and you can do this with the spectating UI as I'm using right now, or you can also do this with the driving UI. The same basic principle. This box is also available while you're driving the car. So you can set these things up on the side screens as you need it, etc., etc. But okay, once again, this has been Checo bKey Sim Media, and I'm going to be shutting this stream down. I hope that you may have gotten a little bit of insight on how to do some camera editing. I know there was a little rambling here and there and searching, but with a new UI that just came out down now on the 9th, it's 11th. It's 9/11, and this new build came out on the 9th. So, and the new UI came with it. And I can tell from the forum posts that I am not alone, and trying to figure out where some of the unfamiliar things are. But we will be okay. I'm sure as a community we will survive. But all right, yet again, I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down. And if you've been watching, I appreciate it. And keep an eye out for more for these. I hope to do another live editing session. It kind of is a whole lot easier than recording it and then rendering it and then uploading it and then so forth. If I can just do live, it's there, already there, and takes a lot less time to get it there. All right, I appreciate it, everyone, and keep an eye out for more.